Welcome to Rearview Diaries. I'm Paul, your host. Today's episode is called Mother's Love. Amazing love. For those of you who are new to the channel, this is my passion project where I ride a rideshare, meet total random strangers, and have an engaging conversation with them. Because I feel that right now, in our current state, we are definitely missing out on talking to people, especially with social media and all of our phones and devices. Anyway, let's get to my passenger. He came in with his wife and he was, very cheerful and very, just a really pleasant person. And I was driving him to go out to dinner with his wife and they're going to meet some friends. And we were just talking about the weather, the things that's happening around the city. But then I saw, they were just amazed. They had a great smile. And as you know, smile triggers me into talking to them. So I was telling them what I was doing and I was collecting amazing stories from so many random strangers. Then he said, I got something for you. And I go, really? He goes, yes. He goes, you're not going to believe this, but, you know, I shouldn't be walking, but I am walking. And I go, of course, I saw you come into the car. So he said, well, let me tell you this story. He said about over 30, I think it was 30 plus years ago, when he was born, he was diagnosed with cancer at 6 months old. And at the time, nobody wanted to operate on him. So his mother, and he said his mother is the most amazing person he knows. His mother decided that she was going to go and contact every doctor that she could get hold of and talk to them about possibly doing this surgery on her 6-month-old baby. And they wanted to remove the tumor and go through all the process. And finally, she found a doctor that said they would do it, but it'd be experimental and he cannot guarantee the life of the baby. So at that point, she said, well, it's better to try than not try. So the doctor managed to pull together a team of other surgeons and doctors to do this experimental surgery on the 6-month-old baby. After they did the surgery, he survived. He went through various chemo and radiation treatment. And then finally, he was lucky that he was cancer free. But one of the side effects was that the fact that he was paralyzed from basically chest down, chest below. So he had no movement. At that point, most mothers would be happy that he's alive, but she decided that, she decided that she wanted to see what she could do for him. All the doctors said there's no way he's going to ever walk. So the fact that he is alive is blessing enough. So during the next 18 months or so, the mother proceeded with her own version of physical therapy. She massaged his legs, made sure there was a movement so that he doesn't have a complete muscle loss. As he progressed, she noticed that when he turned 2 years old, she felt his toes moved a little bit. And she couldn't believe it. So she went back to the doctors and said that she saw the toes move. And then the doctor said that's impossible, especially after the type of surgery he went through. But anyway, and at the time they had no physical therapy for an infant. So she continued on massaging his legs, and she felt even more movement. And then the doctor said, this is a miracle. So whatever she was doing, it was helping. So she continued. So finally, about 6 months later, he said, maybe 6 months to a year later, he started to lift himself up a little bit because he had a very strong arm movement. And before you know it, he started to stand. And at that point, they had no walkers for infants. So his uncle, who happens to be a welder, decided to make a walker for him, special baby walker. So he designed one so that he could start to lift himself up, walk, and start making movement. And all along the way, his mother never gave up on him. So throughout the next you know, decade or so, his mobility got better and better. And then 36 or 37 years later, he came into my car and he told me something that was amazing. He said, of course, his mother was spectacular and amazing on how much love she put in to make sure that he could walk. And he said, it took many years to get used to his movement, but finally he said that over the last 5-6 years he feels really solid about all his flexibility, his mobility. So he said he decided to do a 10K run, which he's supposed to do in about a week. So by the time this video is out, he finished his 10K run. And him and his wife said, his mother was a blessing, and, he owes everything to his mother. And, at that time, I looked at mother's love is amazing. I kind of reflected to my mother and how she was with us. But anyway, it is just amazing what someone's perseverance could do. And we saw this man, my passenger, go from having a massive cancer, beating cancer, and also recovering from paralysis, and him walking and running a 10K. All I could say is kudos to him. I'm really happy that I got to meet this gentleman because he is inspiration for all of us. So even under the most difficult situation, I think we should all need to reflect and say we should never give up. And I am just so happy that I was here to see this man. Anyway, well, thank you again for visiting my channel. Please, if you like any of these stories, please subscribe and like, and I would love to hear your comment. Thank you again for visiting my channel, Rearview Diaries. Until my next ride.